Okay, the Black-Brown Conference was proposed by the beloved Community Center in Greensboro to bring together different folks from the African American and Latino communities around the state to have a conversation about what we have in common. The way it was framed was that the African American communities and the Latino communities are like two trains on the same track headed towards each other. And of course, what we would want to do is to avoid a collision. And that collision is based on some of the realities in our state around economic conditions, the kind of ideological voices that we hear in opposition to immigrants that the African American community is not immune to, and just the general state of concern in all of our communities about where our economy is headed and how each of our communities will be able to survive.
And that's to be understood, that some of the same things that unite us also divide us. And it is how we look at it. Okay, are there more things that people want to put on this list before we start talking about what to do? Because this, again, is in the context not just of us as a people in the United States, but education and the educational system. Do we see a connection now between some of the things on the list of what divides us and the list of what unites us that is connected in particular to the issue of schooling? How do we see that connected? Because to what extent does schooling actually provide a platform for furthering our interest in our common humanity and our common understanding of the common aspects of our history? Or to what extent is schooling an instrument for creating more of the division that takes place? You all know the...
But brothers and sisters, the direction of this economy, when we look at what has happened over the years, if we don't unite, it means genocide for both of our communities. It means genocide for both of our communities.
As long as there's a sheriff down in Smithfield or in Alamance County or a county commissioner in Beaufort that feels like they can call Hispanic people rabbits and their breed and they're trashy and the words coming out of their lips sound like the words that came out of Bull Connor's lip, we've got some walking to do. As long as we've got a schizophrenic justice system that still puts black men and black men in jail for death at 3 to 6 times more than the other white men, and poor people, and the same laws negatively affect Hispanic people. We've got some walking to do.
With certain inalienable rights that amongst these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Words that are so shining, so soaring, so incandescent, so brilliant. And yet they are penned by Mr. Jefferson. Not only a slave owner, but a father of 4 slave children whom he never freed.
Could you tell us how in Smithfield, what are you doing to build unity between African American and Latino workers?
No está haciendo nada, está dividiendo los grupos.
He's not doing anything, and on the contrary, he's dividing the groups.
Diciéndole a los hispanos, por ejemplo, que las personas afroamericanas son flojas.
They say to the Hispanics that African Americans are lazy.
Diciéndole al hispano lo mismo, al contrario, que diciéndole al moreno que los hispanos les quieren quitar los trabajos.
Or telling to the African American people that Hispanics want to take their jobs.
Que los programas de inmigración no les conciernen a ellos, les conciernen nada más a la gente que está envuelta en inmigración.
And immigration is for people who are involved in immigration offices or something like that.
Some of the things we're doing is we're actually having actions, worker actions being done in the plant where there are Latino workers as well as African American workers who are coming together to have to perform these actions. We're having series of meetings where we are wanting Latino workers as well as African American workers to take lead, run the meetings, as well as run their fellow co-workers. We're training them to train each other on how to bridge this gap. One of the things that we're suggesting is that African Americans learn a few words a day in Spanish. What I've learned is that when I knock on doors of Spanish speakers and I approach them and speak Spanish, they're comfortable and they're pleased with it, because it says to them that someone is welcoming and not just, you know, considering them the brown that don't belong here.
We do not need to be wasting time on trivia that divides us. We do not need to waste time on trivia that divides us. We have a very powerful enemy in front of us. This current period is fraught with many, many challenges.
Well, the performances were not selected for any particular reason. I mean, it was, what we wanted to do was to expose both communities and both groups of participants to the broad range of cultures in each of the communities. So of course, when you talk about Latino culture, you're not talking about one particular country. We're talking about many countries in both Central America and Latin America.
What my black skin means? Can they even decipher between my sighs and my screams? How do they reconcile my laughter amid my tears?
¿Por qué desprecias su color? Si sabes quién en el cielo también los quiere.
Well, the conference was an overwhelming success. I mean, it's one of those kinds of gatherings where most people will say that I left there changed or, you know, energized or with a firmer commitment to building unity and fighting for justice. The discussions that we had in our workshops around specific issues that we need to work on together, the cultural expressions, and then the final ceremony where we came together and really committed ourselves to working together in the future were very powerful kinds of things. People are still talking about it, and we feel confident that this is going to take us into this next period, which includes building a movement. I think people resolved to do two things. One is to build a movement for justice, movement for unity amongst the African American and Latino communities in our state. You know, starting of course in the Triad area where the conference was held, and spreading to the Triangle and Eastern North Carolina and Western North Carolina. And in that regard, we hope to have future conferences in each of those areas to really spread the message and to build the cooperation and to build the unity. And I think the other thing that the conference did was to really bring different sectors of the community together, so that we're talking about a heavy concentration of youth. We had folks from the faith community, people from the labor communities who came together, because these are all places where our two communities come together and need to have some understanding and to build some joint action. And they were all represented. So I think it bodes well for the future of building a movement of black and brown unity in North Carolina.
Please visit our website at www.indievoices.org.